What's going on? It's CATO here with your AEW Dynamite replay of the week. Our blood and guts special, I guess that's what we should call it. Man, another really good episode. Not as good as the previous two, but still a really solid episode from AEW. Almost pay-per-view quality, if you ask me personally. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into what's going on. We had Moxley and Eddie Kingston finally get their hands on Kenny Omega. So they thought. So they believed that's what was going to happen. Kenny Omega decided to leave his partner Nakazawa inside the ring by himself, pretty much, at the will of Moxley and Kingston, who put him away and managed to get the win for the match. Now, the real important factor of this tag team match is what happened after the match, right? You had the Young Bucks. You had the Good Brothers come down and attack Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Like I've been saying all along, you need to get Moxley out of the way of that world title picture, right? And what better way to get him off of Kenny Omega back by giving him two new targets to go after. They won't be going after the Young Bucks because we know the SCU, they have their sights on the Young Bucks right now. So my belief is that they'll probably try to go take out the Good Brothers first, which will still be a really good matchup, which will be still them taking it to the Elite. Granted, they can't really get their hands on Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks right now, but, you got to settle for the Good Brothers. I don't mind seeing that whenever it does decide to happen. All right. We also had Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. Now, first of all, let me commend AEW for kicking off the show with guys like Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Kenny Omega, all in the kickoff of the show, because it really set the tone for what you was ready to get. You know what I'm saying? It really let you know, like, hey, this is a show you want to sit down, pay attention, and watch, because we're giving you the big guns first, so you don't know exactly what will be next. The one thing we know for sure is that the Blood and Guts match will be in the main event. Now the QT Rhodes, Jesus Christ. So the QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes, a pretty solid match, man. It was a pretty solid match. I thought this would be the match that we would get to really cap off the feud. So I thought this would be a match we would get later on down the line in the pay-per-view, but it makes sense to have a Nightmare Family versus the Factory style match. The same thing that you have with the Pinnacle and the Circle going on right now. I'm not saying the same exact type of match, but it should be something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? So this only just furthered the feud of what's going to happen with these two factions. Cody Rhodes did pick up the pin, but throughout the match, it was a little off, all right? First being the referee stopping Cody from using his weight belt, but yet QT Marshall used the weight belt right in front of the referee. Nothing happens, right? Arn Anderson sucker punch QT Marshall right in the face. Nothing happens. Arn Anderson get removed from ringside. I believe that's called the disqualification anywhere else, right? So that made the match a little bit weird and the whole no disqualification things. But Anthony Ogogo, man. Anthony Ogogo again made his presence known. I like the Factory a lot. I really like this faction, man. They just got all the pieces. Now, one thing about this match, I will say QT Marshall did look legit. Cody Rhodes in this wrestling match, QT Marshall was in the head of Cody. He made the wrestler fight his game, which almost allowed QT Marshall to pick up the win. Of course, he wasn't able to beat Cody Rhodes, but the fact that remains is QT Marshall looked really solid in this match. He looked believable, like he could possibly pull off the upset against Cody Rhodes. So I did like that aspect of the match. I did like them furthering the feud between the two factions. So, it really builds up anticipation for when it does come to a head. Hopefully it's something like the Pinnacle and the Circle. Not just a regular, 4-on-4 type tag team match. That wouldn't be as exciting. Maybe, I guess if you did like maybe like a elimination tag team match, like a Survivor Series style match. But it would have to be like no DQ, maybe another bunkhouse brawl match. That was really great when Dustin and QT was in the last one he was in. So maybe something like that. Now, in the next match, we did see SCU survive the Fatal 4-Way, and now they have punched their ticket to an AEW Tag Team title shot against the Young Bucks. Now, let's remember, the SCU vowed if they ever lost another tag team match, they would not team up together anymore in AEW. So this has really big implications on this title match coming up between SCU and the Young Bucks. SCU not being a tag team anymore, Young Bucks not being tag team champions anymore. I don't quite see the Young Bucks giving up those tag team titles yet. I see Moxley and Kingston having their sights set on the Young Bucks and having their sights set on those tag team titles. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a situation where SCU does manage to win the match, but not manage to win the tag team titles. Plenty of ways that can happen. We got the Good Brothers outside the ring. We got Kenny Omega and Eddie Kingston outside the ring, who has an issue with the Elite, and we still have Kenny Omega. So plenty of ways we can make that happen. But I am happy to see SCU back in that tag team title hunt, back with the opportunity in the ring to get a shot at those AEW tag team titles. Now, for the match that we've all been waiting for, the main event of the night. Man, the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. Blood and guts. Wow. That was a hell of a match. Now, I like the match for the fact that it was different than NXT's War Game match. Granted, you still got the two cages side by side. This cage had tops on it, so that's a little bit different. NXT, I feel like it was more hot spots. You're gonna get a lot of spots to wow the crowd. This match felt like an all-out war. It felt like you had two groups of guys who hated each other. You have 5 guys over here and 5 guys over here who wanted to just destroy each other, and that's what they did. I mean, I don't know if anyone didn't bleed in that match. That match reminded me of an old school 1992 WCW, no disqualification type of brawl. Like, these guys went at it. Like, they left it all out in the ring. So hats off to everybody that participated in that match. Y'all definitely did y'all thing. No doubt about that. Of course, we're going to have some issues. Of course, we're going to have some a few tips, I guess, me being me. There was one point in the match where the Inner Circle pretty much was like I believe a 5-on-1 almost against Warlow or MJF, one of the two. I can't remember. But point B, I'm like, okay, put away the match. Let's do what we need to do to put away this match. I don't care if you do a double crippler cross face with the walls of Jericho, something. Like, let's put the match away. The match ended up going to Jericho and MJF to the top of the cage, where MJF said, guys, if you don't surrender, I'm going to push him off and pretty much try to put an end to Chris Jericho's career. Sammy then, of course, he surrenders. He says, no, don't do it. We surrender. Match is over. I like the fact, the ending. Let me really talk about that. I don't mind the Pinnacle winning. Of course, everyone wanted to see it in the Circle win. I felt like that would have been a great ending, but I understand why the Pinnacle had to win. You have your pretty much all of your young guys. You pretty much have the future of your company, at least 2/3 of it, inside of this faction, being MJF and FTR. Sean Spears, I don't know how far you're gonna really go. And Warlow, if he ever decides to break away, or they really put him in that singles type of matchup and style that he deserves to be in, you pretty much have another guy that's the future of the company, pretty much. LAX, Jericho, those are your vets. So I don't really, Hager, he's another vet. Sammy's the only really young guy that I'll see hanging around AEW for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So I understand why you had the Pinnacle win that matchup. Okay, let's get that out the way first. I like the fact that after they surrender, MJF still pushes Jericho off the cage because it makes him look like that ultimate heel that you're trying to book him out to be anyway. Perfect, right? That's perfect. My only issue really is, which is what everyone probably had an issue with, is the actual fall and the landing. I mean, he clearly landed on look like cardboard and the mat. I understand completely. Take all the precautions you need for your athletes, all your wrestlers, right? Make sure everyone's safe, especially someone like Chris Jericho, who's older, but yet he's someone who the crowd wants to see week in and week out. Have to take care of these guys, and that was still a hell of a bump. The mat or no damn mat, that's a hell of a bump. My only issue was we got half of the tag team outside of the ring. Well, half of the team outside the ring on Jericho's side. There's plenty of time for these guys to run over there, try to cover some things up, make it look like it's not cardboard, make it look like it's not a mat or something before the camera pans over to Jericho clearly laying on some cardboard in the mat. We could have had one long solid piece of cardboard so it wouldn't have broken. It would have looked like the stage had dented in, which would have been a much better ending. And also in the same show, I watched Darby Allin go down concrete steps. That's really my only tiff about it. It's like, I think AEW as a whole, not the spot. The spot was fine, but AEW as a whole could have done a much better job of just disguising the fact that he's going to land on the mat. That was my really only issue with the ending. But other than that, I mean, sheesh, I already got that down as match of the year so far. I know it's not fair because it's a 5-on-5 and it's a specialty type matchup. So far the specialty matchups, that is the match of the year, hands down. That match was absolutely insane. Now, moving on to next week action though. Oh, and another thing about the match, that match should have been a pay-per-view matchup. That should have been a pay-per-view match because if you're watching it on TNT, they have commercial breaks. Granted, they try to stick with the action, do the commercials sometimes, but the commercial break, it kind of break up the real flow of the actual match and what's really going on. So, you'll go to break. I feel like these guys kind of waiting for their cue to be like, okay, we're back live, and kind of pick it up again, right? If you're going to do that style matchup next time, just save it for a pay-per-view. It's worthy of a pay-per-view event. It's worthy of... Imagine you kicking off your pay-per-view event like that. That would be insane. But my whole thing is, the commercial breaks just really makes it hard to really enjoy a match like that. I think if that match was on pay-per-view, it would have been even better just because it would have flowed so well together. But that's just me being nitpicky again. Now... next week we get to see number 1 Orange Cassidy versus number 2 Pac to see who will go on to face Kenny Omega for that AEW championship, right? I would love to see Pac and I would love to see Kenny Omega get it on for the AEW title. Problem being, I don't want to see Pac get a shot at the AEW title just to go out there and lose because you already got things lined up for Kenny Omega. Let's be honest, you got Christian Cage. He didn't come here just to hang out, all right? You got Moxley, granted his attention isn't on that belt right now. It will be probably within the next 4 to 5 months unless you put those tag team titles on him. Let's be honest, Hangman Page, hey, he lost to Brian Cage. 2 guys who are right up there at the top. So Hangman Page and Pac, I feel like these are 2 guys I could actually see with the AEW World title. So I don't want them to go out there and just be fed to the wolves. Kind of like you fed everyone to John Moxley. I don't want you to feed these 2 guys to the wolves. I would like to see Orange Cassidy somehow pull it off, and it makes sense that these guys are the number one ranking and number 2 ranking because you had the feud going on with the Best Friends and Death Triangle. So, what a great way to further the feud by costing whichever guy the matchup. Whatever faction costs the other faction guy the matchup. Much better way to make the feud go even deeper because now you cost me a world title shot, right? I wouldn't mind seeing Orange Cassidy go on and face Kenny Omega because I don't mind Orange Cassidy losing to Kenny Omega right now, to be honest. I mean, he had his time, he had his moment with Chris Jericho. And I felt like, hey, that's the moment that you should have pushed Orange Cassidy to the moon if you're going to push him, right? Kind of let that heat die down a little bit. So I don't mind him going out there and losing to Kenny Omega. I'm just being honest. And we also get to see a match that I really, really wanted to see. I didn't think we would be getting it this soon. And that's Miro versus Darby Allin. Miro finally got rid of the dead weight. this is going to be the Miro that we deserve to see since he first came into AEW. My only thing is, damn, Lance Archer just got moved to the side, huh? I mean, he just got kicked right to the curb unless you're trying to set Lance Archer up to be a face, which it looked like because he's saving Sting and Darby Allin every couple of seconds. Are y'all trying to put Lance Archer and Darby Allin as a tag team to go against Ethan and Scorpio Sky? I don't know. I don't know if it'll work, but it'll be fun to watch. But damn, I feel like you were setting up a time for Lance Archer to really, make his mark in AEW, to be the guy that you wanted him to be when you first brought him when you teamed him up with Jake the Snake. He's just been on the wayside, just watching everything happen and coming in and saving Darby every chance that he can. But man, I would have thought that it would have gotten him a AEW TV title shot, but I don't know. I guess not. I guess you just get a pat on the back and a shout out from Sting when you come and save Darby Allin butt all the time. But I don't see a way that Miro lose this match. I see Miro locking on that submission and making Darby pass out, because I don't see Miro actually being able to make Darby, stay to the mat for 3 seconds. If this is like the past few weeks we've seen where Darby Allin has main evented the end of AEW Dynamite, besides last week, I can see the time running out like I thought would happen with Lance Archer. That will allow this match to take place again on a pay-per-view. Where I really want to see this title on Miro. I think he's the type of guy that deserves to have this title and who I want to see week in and week out dominating guys who try to come and take the TV title off of him. Darby Allin, he's been a great TNT champion. He's still a great TNT champion, but I think he can do a lot more in the company now. He has so much, buzz behind him right now. The fans are all behind him and rallying behind him right now, but he does have an issue with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky that he needs to go and address also. So I wouldn't mind seeing Darby handing over the belt for a little bit. I'm going to go handle what you need to handle. Maybe somehow get Lance Archer, maybe turn on Darby Allin, get a little one-on-one match there until Darby finally decide to go back after Miro. Or hey, maybe we'll get Lance Archer and Miro if Lance does continue to be a face. Maybe Miro put him on the sideline or something like that, or Miro put Darby on the sideline and the other person come and they'll seek vengeance for their partner or their friend or their colleague, I don't know what you would call them right now, and try to take the title off of Miro. So it's a lot of ways that AEW can go right now with this TNT title scene. I don't see Kenny Omega dropping the belt to Pac or Orange Cassidy right now. And I don't see SCU taking the titles off of the Young Bucks. I think Kenny Omega and Eddie Kingston are going to... No, Kenny Omega. Man, I'm just teaming up everybody. I think Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston are going to be the ones to eventually take those titles off the Young Bucks. But I would hate to see a team like SCU split up. Even if they did, it would be fine because we haven't really seen Christopher Daniels and a lot of one-on-one matches on Dynamite anyway. So, I don't know. It can go a few ways. I like how AEW kind of have us in the dark. Like, these storylines can really just branch off and go, whichever way. And now we have to see what's next for the Pinnacle. Okay, you got the Inner Circle out the way. They're no longer a threat to you. Now where do you go? Do MJF go after the TNT title? I definitely don't see him going after the world title. That elite group is too strong for the Pinnacle. Let's be honest. They're too strong. The chemistry is they're too well of a old machine for the Pinnacle. These guys have been together forever. So I don't see MJF putting his sights on that. So it will be nice to see what happens with the Pinnacle next week and where do they want to go now that the Inner Circle is no longer in the picture. Now that feud is finally done. That's all we got for AEW this week. Another great show. 3 weeks in a row. They're on a roll. And next week with Orange Cassidy, Pac, Miro, Darby Allin, those 2 matches alone are matches that I can't wait to see. Those are pay-per-view quality matches to me, if you ask me. We still have to see what happens with the Factory and the Nightmare Family. So next week is going to probably be another great episode. But that's all we got for this week, man. Let me know what you guys think of this episode. Let me know what you think about the Pinnacle and the Circle. How do you feel about the Pinnacle actually defeating the Inner Circle? How do you feel about the ending? Who do you see will be the number 1 contender for Kenny Omega's title You got Orange Cassidy pack. You got to pick one. All right. Do you think Miro's going to finally take the title from Darby Allin? Darby Allin had this title for so long, man. And he's been fighting week in and week out. There's no way the kid's 100%. So do you see Miro capitalizing and taking that title for Darby Allin? Let me know. Hit me in the comments, the DM. I check them all. Before you guys get out of here, make sure you mash that like button. Hit subscribe. Turn on your notifications so anytime we drop the video, it'll let you know. It'll alert you. That's just pretty much all it does. That's all it does. But make sure you found the Wrestling Replay on Instagram as well. We're going to be starting our giveaway any moment here. We're slowly creeping up to the 100 subscriber mark. We're still in the 80s. Let's break the 80s. But yeah, still in the 80s. So make sure you're following the Wrestling Replay on Instagram, because that's where the giveaway will take place, and you will have all of your instructions on how to win whatever prize we're going to give away. That's going to be a secret until we actually release the giveaway. All right. But that's all we really got for AEW, man. I'll see you guys back here again with SmackDown. Let's see how that show goes. All right. I'm CATO, signing out. Peace.